and gentlemen, and welcome back to Up the U's, the channel dedicated to my love and hopefully your love, all things Colchester United. Today we're going to be taking a look back at our 3-2 defeat in the FA Cup to MK Dons. We'll also be joined by Jonathan, an MK Dons fan, later on in the show. We'll also hear what Danny Cowley and Kane Vincent-Young had to say on the defeat. But before we get into all of that, let's have a look at the match highlights. So I'm joined this week by Jonathan, a MK Dons fan, to talk about our FA Cup game. Jonathan, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm quite happy we've actually made it past the first round in what seems like forever. But yeah, I'm buzzing about that. Maybe not buzzing about playing Oldham the next round. No offense to any Oldham fans that watch this, but yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I think Colchester fans were very similar. It was one of them where it was like, can we actually break the duck of actually getting into the next round? And then yeah, seeing your draw of getting Oldham at home. Like I was mentioning this when I was on Don's Unplugged. You sort of either want a National League team away or something like that, or a team from the league above to sort of try and test your team a little bit. It's never nice getting a team that you're going to play at least twice in the league, to then play them a third time. It's a little bit disheartening. But it's the magic of the FA Cup. You never know. Get past Oldham and then get a big Premier League team away from home. You'll be laughing. But we'll get into our game. A 3-2 win for the Dons. How did you feel about it?
Well, it's my second visit to Colchester on Saturday, and believe it or not, both visits have culminated in a 3-2 win for MK Dons. I think last time we came there, I think we scored in the last minute. I seem to remember. I think Alex Gilby got the equaliser, and then Matt Dennis popped up, and so Colchester's quite a lucky ground for me. Really enjoy it there. Really enjoy the pre-match with the big TV screen, and so you could watch the championship game beforehand. And was looking forward to it without the pressure of 3 points on the line.
Yeah, I suppose that is obviously one thing that you do think about with the FA Cup when you do play against a team in your league. Yes, it's nice to get the win, get the sort of prize money, get through to the next round, win, like we say, win again. In the third round, the Premier League teams start to come in. But it does also, Colchester would have learned a lot from how MK play. MK would have learned a lot for how Colchester play. So it's sort of got like a pre-season friendly sort of vibe to it. And like you say, obviously coached the lost 3-2, but we haven't lost. That's not like 3 points that we could have lost in the league. It's just an extra game. So that, to be fair, now thinking about that, it's quite an interesting way to sort of think about it. Like I say, yeah, we've learned a lot from that game. I have to say, I unfortunately wasn't able to make the game. There's been a lot of talks online about the refereeing performance and the performance of the officials. From coach to fans, it's not good what you sort of read online of what they're saying. As an MK Dons fan, what did you make of the officials' performances?
Very, very. She was poor for both sides. I have to be honest. From what I see, I think we got 4 yellow cards in the game. I think 3 of them were worse than soft. She was very quick to get the cards out. And then it was ironic because in the second half, Callum Patterson came on and he kneed Harry Anderson in the back. And it was so obvious to the fans, like all of us, like what he'd done. And she didn't even talk to Callum Patterson. And I can see why Dan Cowley was angry after the game, because it just that inconsistency. Potentially, you could have had a penalty at the end of the first half. I don't know if it was a handball or a push, but there was certainly Colchester player sort of was really appealing at the end of the first half when it was 1-1. But I think we both know that referees in the EFL, and especially League Two, and when they're coming up from the National League, the standards aren't very high anyway, so it's to be expected.
Yeah, I'll be honest. They were the 2 talking points I was gonna go through with you, but you sort of explained it all already. The first one was going to be in the first half. Should we have had a penalty? And yeah, Patterson's knee into Harry Anderson's back, which looks like might have potentially put Harry Anderson out for our game on Saturday against Bromley, which hopefully not, because he's in fine form at the moment, scoring goals, setting up goals. Yeah, and Danny Cowley in his interview, he did say about that it was right in front of the officials, right in front of the dugouts. It was clear to see what he did, and he's obviously gone unpunished. Obviously, it may have a little bit of bias here. Hepburn Murphy's first goal, talks of an offside. Would you agree with that, or would you say that it was benefit of the doubt to the striker?
So, watching it live when it happened, because I think at that time we were 1-0 down, and I'd like to credit Mbic for his finish, because that was one hell of a finish. Yes, our goalkeeper went wandering, and it was a brilliant pass by Harry Anderson to set him away. But the composure to lob him from there and to finish it was like, I can see why Colchester fans absolutely love Mbic, and he caused us no end of problems throughout the game, and I can see why he's so well loved at Colchester. But watching the Hepburn Murphy goal live, I saw the pass go down the right-hand side, and I was fully expecting a offside. And I could see Matt Macy was still with his arm going ref, whilst Hepburn Murphy was coming towards him. And don't get me wrong, it was a good finish by Hepburn Murphy in the end. Took a deflection off Macy's legs and crept over the line. Maybe if we were in a higher league and the technology was there, it could have been offside, but it was difficult to watch live whether he was or not. But from the TV angles, it did look close.
Yeah, I think there's a picture online that shows that, I think as the ball's played, you can sort of see it looks like Hepburn Murphy is doing like the classic striker thing where he's like leaning forward and pointing. It does look like he's offside. And then there's a picture from further out where you see the linesman's looking down the line and the referee's looking at, for some reason, not looking where the ball is looking where the player is going to make the run. And between the two of them, you think one would be looking at the ball, one would be looking on the line, and it seems neither of them were. So I think it's a little bit frustrating. Like I say, from that picture, it does look like he's offside. Obviously, Ellis is running back the whole time with his hand up. Macy's doing the same as soon as a goal goes in. they're sort of looking at the linesman saying about it. So it was a little bit frustrating with that. But yeah, you've obviously mentioned the Mbit goal. I think both of our goals were very calmly, very coolly taken goals. Obviously, in the start of the second half, Harry Anderson gets the ball on his right, cuts back to his left, and I think it's 2 or 3 MK players have thrown themselves out on the floor to block it, and he's just pulling into the roof of the net. But yeah, Mbit's goal, I think what is most impressive is he knew when he ran onto it, he didn't sprint onto the ball. He was jogging onto it, so he was calm, he was relaxed, and he chose the right style of shot. He could have easily gone for like a proper chip shot, but I think your keeper would have just ran backwards and caught it. But he's gone for the sort of like free kick style where he's whipped it round, and yeah, he is an absolute bright talent. And every day, Colchester fans are hoping Charlton don't recall him, and I think we'll have him for the season, and it could be very, very impressive season for him. Obviously, towards the end of the game, I don't know why we did it. We sat back, we let you sort of just hit us on the counter, and then 87th minute, Tomlinson just has so much time in the world to just take a shot. We actually have you can sort of see a back 4 and then like a midfield 4, and then there's just so much space over on that left-hand side. Obviously, that goal goes in, makes it 3-2. MK are happy because they're into the next round. They're going to get a really nice tie, and you get Oldham. We spoke.
Go on.
Yeah, go on.
So yeah, for the equaliser, I thought it was actually, to be fair, really good build-up play, real good one-touch football. It's what we're starting to get now a lot under Paul Warne, especially the link-up between Mendes-Lang and Hepburn Murphy seems to just be clicking. We've been forced into that front 2 of sorts because Callum Patson's not been, well, I think he's been ill. There's a bug going around the camp, so that's why he came off the bench. And it seems to be working well because Hepburn Murphy scored against Bromley with a Mendes-Lang assist. And again, he got another assist for Hepburn Murphy. And I thought that was a real good finish across Macy, low, hard. And then, as you say, for the third goal, it was really weird because was it from a second phase from a corner or a free kick or something? And then we just kept the ball, and then the ball just got slipped into Mendes-Lang, I think it was, and he fired it across the box. And I could see there were loads of Colchester players in there. And the next minute, I'm like, how's Joe Tomlinson managed to get on the penalty spot essentially in the free space? And you could visibly see the frustration, especially on Macy's face. Was like, why weren't you covering? And you can't take anything away from the finish, but that was the first time we led at the game, and you thought, right, I think we had 5-6 minutes to hang on from there. I think the ref gave 2 minutes added time, and then somehow added another 3 on top of that, and I was like, right, okay, this is nervous. And then when you got through that last kick of the game, my head was in my hands because I thought, this is it. It's going back to 3-3, and it felt like it was closer to the goal than it actually was watching it back. But I'm sure Colchester fans maybe thought, right, we've saved this for extra time.
Yeah, it was definitely one that Danny said in his interview after. He said if we'd have just followed the attack, he thinks that we would have just been able to tap it in. And when you watch it, yeah, Lisby gets through, he uses his pace, which is just going to cause every single team we play this season, he's going to cause them so much problems because I don't think there's anyone that's going to be able to keep up with him. And yeah, I think at the time, I think it was Tavide that was running in with him. Tavide's confidence isn't quite there at the moment. I think last season, a Tavide would have ran onto the end of that and seen it home. But yeah, it was one of them where it was like rolling towards the goal. And it did look like that it was going to be one of them where it's going to creep in, but it was miles off of it. Tavide was nowhere near it. I think, in fact, if it had more on it, I think it would have just gone wide and gone out for a goal kick. But yeah, I think in terms of MK, I think Mendes-Lang and Hepburn Murphy were very, very good players. Like I say, unfortunately, I wasn't at the game, but what I've seen online and seen the reports were they were two very, very good, very, very quality players. And I mean, Mendes Lang isn't a League Two player. Like, say what you want about him, he's easy, sort of the mid-table League One, maybe even top half a League One player. And Hepburn Murphy's just a very quick striker that likes to get in behind. And then with midfielders like Dan Crowley, Liam Kelly, Nemain and Mellish on either wing, they're just going to feed him goals. And yeah, he was one that before the game when I was with on the Don's Unplugged podcast, he was one that I brought out as a very dangerous player to look at. Also, you mentioned about Mbix taking his goal. Was there any other sort of Culture United players that sort of stood out for you as like sort of look them for? I wouldn't mind them in an MK Don side.
I liked Harry Anderson. I've always rated Harry Anderson. He always seems to score against us. He did in his Lincoln days, and he was causing the main problems. I thought he would, as well as Aaron Nemain has played, and he's recently got the Fans Player of the Month just because of his performances at right wing back, which essentially isn't his position. He's covering for Gethin Jones and for Kane Wilson. Again, two players that were waiting to come back from the injury list. We still got Aaron Collins to come back as well, which is really scary. You think them three quality players are still to come into this, and you're thinking, wow. I liked Ellis as well. Ellis Ian Donu on the left-hand side. I thought he got forward well, backed up Anderson. I thought Arthur Reed was pretty good in midfield. Had a good battle with Dan Crowley, and sort of once he got booked by the referee for probably another innocuous challenge, he sort of came within himself, and that's when we started to win the midfield battle. That's when Liam Kelly got on the ball, and you know as well as I do, you give Liam Kelly time and space on the ball, and you give him time he can just dictate a game with his eyes closed, and you could see that towards the end. We were able to rest Alex Gilby completely, just like you rested Jack Payne. So they probably went on a golfing day or something, because I know they're best mates, I imagine. So if you can rest people like Gilby and still come out to Colchester with a 3-2 win, still not have Aaron Collins, and it just shows the talent, and you can see why people are saying we should potentially walk this league.
Yeah, no, definitely. When the sort of towards the start of the season, when the signings were coming in, it was definitely one of them where their eyes were being open to MK. And I'll be honest, the stadium that you've got, the sort of backgrounds that you've got, and the sort of owners and that you've had in the past, it's about time that you got out the league. Let's face it. But yeah, I think this year could be the year where you might be up there fighting with a couple of other teams, but I think this could be the year where MK get out the league and then hopefully climb up the divisions. And you never know, back to back promotions, you're in the Premier League. We can all dream, can't we? So yeah, obviously we've still got to play each other in the league. I think you come to our place again on New Year's Day. And then we come to you on a Tuesday night in March, which should be good fun. So you said about sort of MK being up near the top of the table. Is that where you think you're going to sort of finish this year?
I said at the start of the season, anything lower than top three would be a failure. I know all the pundits had us either first or second with Chesterfield. As you say, you can't argue with what's been spent by these new owners and whether people agree with it or not. And given where the franchise, we're always going to have that on our back as well. It was a good bit of banter actually pre-match with a few of the Colchester fans came over to near the away end and started giving it. And within 10 minutes, I think your local constabulary kicked him out the ground. So that was a nice bit of fun before the match. And as you say, I think this season, there's a huge pressure on us to get out. I think in previous seasons when we've been battling for promotions, we've had the Stockports and the Wrexhams and the Mansfields and teams with bigger budgets at the time, and we've always been the plucky underdog. And I think with this comes this season comes a different pressure. We've got a manager that's managed at a much higher level, got promotions. We've got players that have played at a much higher level. As you say, Callum Patterson, because of Sheffield Wednesday situation, that's how we got him. Mendes Lang terminated his contract when Warren got in contact with him, supposedly. I don't think we get Hepburn Murphy if we get Paul Warren, because he's that sort of manager that players want to play for. Maybe like your manager, the players really want to play for him, really feel valued. And he does this funny thing whenever players score their first goal, he gets them a mug of the with the photo of their goal for their first goal of the season, and he keeps saying, "Oh, every player that scores just eating out of the transfer budget," and you're thinking, well, what is our transfer budget in January? So it's got that camaraderie which we've been missing for years with the squad, probably since when we had Harry Darling, Scott Twine, Troy Parrott that season, where we were so close to promotion and ultimately bottled it. So yeah, things are looking good.
Awesome. Barnet away at the weekend. Barnet could be a bit of a sort of odd one for teams. They're obviously sitting at 12th at the moment in the league. Could be one of the ones where if you get the win and results go your way, you go top of the league. However, Barnet win and results go their way, brings them into 24th, brings them into the playoffs, brings them into where you sort of are. Obviously, for us, Colchester, we are just working it out, 6, 7, 8 points off the sort of top of the table sort of mark. It's all sort of still to play for in and around the League Two table. So, yeah, I think for the rest of the season, I think apart from when we play you, I think MK will be good to go this season. You're looking at the likes of sort of what Swindon and Walsall are doing. You're also looking at what the Gills are doing as well. They're on a little bit of a poor run at the moment, but I think with Ainsworth in charge and with the players that they've got, they can flip that around. Obviously, Walsall, the last 5, Walsall have won 2, drawn 1, lost 2. And obviously for yourselves, last 5, you've won 4, lost 1. So I think it's still relatively early days as who's going to be the sort of standout runaway sort of winner. But I think you are starting to see what teams are starting to become real title contenders. And then obviously down towards the bottom, you're sort of starting to see the teams that are now starting to drift away slightly. Your Newport, your Crawley, Shrewsbury, teams like that. Although Newport and Crawley both did win in their last game. So even down there, it's an absolute minefield of what's going on. But yeah, I think MK will be all right this year. I think this could be the year that you, like I say, you get out of this league. And then I don't know how MK fans feel about this, whether to want to play Wimbledon next year or want Wimbledon to get relegated, but you might get that derby again.
I think if you ask the majority of MK Dons fans, you'll probably get the latter answer rather than the former. It's one of these games where it's difficult to get tickets for because it's what they class as a bull match. You always feel like we're hard done by with the stewards. I think last time I went, I got searched about 4 times by 4 different stewards before I got in, and I was like, well, if I haven't found anything the first time, where are they going to? But yeah, so I always call it down there because it's their cup final, and ultimately this season I just want us to concentrate on ourselves without any distractions. We haven't got any sort of local derby games. I suppose we can class you and Swindon as potentially local, but you know how northern this league is yourself. I think Colchester will probably get playoffs. I think you've got enough. I think with Danny and Nicky, you've got two coaches that know how to succeed in this league. Obviously, with Lincoln City, obviously they got promoted at Stadium MK with Lincoln back in 2018, 2019. So they know exactly what it takes. They'll look that. They don't hide from the fact of the way they play, and there's nothing wrong with the way you play. And you do play some good football. I don't think you get enough credit for it because everyone sees the name Danny Cowley and associates it with this different type of football. But I think there's a good standard in League Two. I think Grimsby play some real good football as well. I really like Grimsby. I think they're going to be up there. I think Salford, no one's really talking about them, but they're quietly going under the radar, same as Cambridge. So the funny thing about this league, Ryan, and I'm sure you'll agree, is anyone can beat anyone on their day. And there's always this crazy result every Saturday. You think, how's that happened? They've lost 6 in a row. They've won 6 in a row. And it's like, what I'd say to any fan is just don't take League Two for granted, because it'll bite you on the backside before you know it.
Yep. I think that was evident on, I think 3 weeks ago, 11th of October, when Accrington Stanley done Swindon 4-0. And then you look at even one of our results recently, where we played Chesterfield and we done them 6-2. And I've said it loads of times. I'll say it again. Chesterfield were not bad on that day. It's just that everything that we did just looked like it was going to be a goal. But yeah, that is the sort of wonders about League Two. Is at the weekend it could be. I mean, Walsall have got Newport, and Newport are bottom, Walsall are top. Newport might win that 2-0. That's just how League Two is. And then you'll have Swindon if Swindon play Crawley, and Swindon will thump them 5-0. Like it's just mental. It's just how League Two is. But no, it's been awesome. John, thank you so much for coming on, mate. I really do appreciate it. Best of luck with the rest of the season until obviously we play you. But yeah, I think this year MK Dons fans will be celebrating a final promotion out of this league.
Well, thank you again for inviting me on. It was good to talk about a win, going through to the cup.
So that's what Jonathan
and
thought of the game.
yeah, good
Now
luck for the rest of the season.
Danny
Twice
Cowley and Kane
play you
Vincent
and
said on
catch up
the game.
soon.
Spoke to Cole UTV.
No worries. Awesome. Thank you, mate.
Danny, how frustrating was that the only time we were behind in the game was the most important bit right at the end?
Yeah, I think we're going to be really disappointed with the 3 goals that we concede. Of course, when you go up in a game twice against a very, very good MK Dons team, I have to say that. But when you go up twice and you play as well as we did, and then you get pegged back like we did, I think, the overriding emotion is going to be disappointment. The key moments didn't go for us, certainly in terms of decisions, which we have to accept. But I think at the same time we have to look at what we can control. And you don't win many football matches when you concede 3 goals. And I didn't like the goals that we conceded today.
Yeah, and against what is a very, very good MK Don side, can you this soon after the game see the positive that we did really play well and took them to the wire?
Well, we felt that going into the game that we'd have to be at our best to win, because you look at their squad, they have championship players that they've been able to recruit. It's an incredible group of players that they have. So we knew we'd have to be at our best, and I thought some of our work with the ball was at our best. But I think, the goals that we conceded, just some small little errors, and we haven't given up many chances. That's what's frustrating. Maybe just 4 chances in the game. I don't think Matt Macy's had to make many saves, but the 4 chances that we did give up, they've taken 3 of them, and that's what good players do. But still, I think when we go back on the goals, first one we just didn't trap the runner, probably made the finish too easy for their forward. The second one, I think we should have tidied up and gone back to Mace. We didn't, we cleared it poorly, and then rather than then delaying and trying to slow their attack down, we've jumped out aggressively and they've played round us and been able to speed their game up. And even the third goal, I think it's a Fromm that started on our right, it then progressed over to the other side. They end up having an overload on the left, and we're 4v2 and we're still trying to defend aggressively. We have to be less emotional in that moment and defend with more intelligence, and we didn't. And they've got good players, and good players when they get the chance, they're ruthless. And even at the end, I think we had the one-on-one with Kyrese, and we get in behind them. And even then, I think if we just travel with the attack, Kyrese lifts it over the goalkeeper, and if we'd have travelled with the attack, I think maybe there would have been a tap in for us. But it wasn't to be. We have to congratulate MK Dons. We have to lick our wounds and move forward.
Yeah, and they would have seen their 3 goals as good goals from their point of view, because they were good clinical finishes, or a goal from Micah and Bick. I mean, I didn't think I could be surprised about anything else he could do, but we are.
Yeah, great goal from him. Brilliant finish, just the calmness. the game's happening in slow motion for him. But yeah, fantastic finish. And actually, the second one's a brilliant team goal. So we're in a midfield press. We set a trap. We able to nick the ball off of their right centre half. And then Kyrie has the presence of mind to find Harry, and then Harry just the calmness to be able to finish. And it was a really good goal from us. And that obviously, I thought 1-0, we were by far the better team, and it looked like we could find the second at 1-0. And then they scored from nowhere. And then at 2-1, I thought we were the better team again. And I'm thinking the third goal might kill them off. And then they get a goal from nowhere. And that really, those two goals changed the momentum of the game. And yeah, then in and around that, some decisions went against us. But I can't talk about the referee, because if I do, I get myself in trouble. So we have to just suck that up, unfortunately.
Yeah, the other thing we might have to suck up, Harry's scored the goal, but then he took a whack right in front of the dugout. How's he now? Yeah,
well, we had the difficult news before the game. Jack Payne come off the back of Swindon game, felt his hamstring, so he's got a tear, which is disappointing for us because he's such a key player. We have now 3 of our 5 midfielders injured, and Arthur Reid has felt his groin today to add to that. So that's tough for us to take. And yeah, Harry, their player just comes on right in front of the fourth official, right in front of the ref, cynically, just like knee in the back. It's as clear as day, and they just think it's a foul. And the problem is, he knows what he's doing. He's like, Harry's in a really good moment in the game, he just cynically makes that challenge, and now Harry has to come off as a consequence of that foul. And maybe it's clever play by their player. I don't know, but I just would like the officials just to understand the game and try to make the appropriate decision.
Came away from league action today in the FA Cup, unfortunately going down in a very good game against MK Dons.
Yeah, I think it was a game of really fine margins. I think they're a really good side. Obviously, they're in our division. I expect them to be right up there, but I think we went toe-to-toe with them and we just fell short in the end. But I think there's a lot of good to take from the game.
And how hard is it this soon after a disappointing defeat in the Cup again? I say again because that's 10 years out of 11 we've gone out in the first. How easy is it to keep that positive in your mind that we've gone toe-to-toe with a top team in our league?
I mean, naturally it hurts, everybody loves a cup run and nobody likes to lose games, but I think it's important to be able to zoom out and kind of take the positives, because we lost the game, but we lost to a team in our division that, like I said, we expect to be right up there, and I don't think there was much to separate the teams, and I think that bodes well for us in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, to go ahead twice as well shows the quality that we've got in the team, and 2 very good goals. The first one in big, probably an individual goal, but the second one a real team goal.
Yeah, I think we can score in many different ways. I think the front half of the pitch is functioning really, really well at the minute. I think we've got goals from all over. Everybody's contributing, which, like I said, bodes really well for us.
And then at the other end of the pitch just shows you how you've got to stay focused and concentrated against such a good team, because they were clinical. I think they scored 3 out of their 4 chances.
100%, that's it. That's the difference. Sometimes you get away with it, but against kind of better teams with better quality, you don't. So it's one for us to learn from.
And obviously you've been out of the team last week because your lip. How's that and healing, and how did you feel?
Yeah, I'm all good. I think at the time I was very frustrated just because I built up a good kind of consistent run, so for that to be disrupted was, like I said, a bit frustrating, but the injury's not too bad at all. It's all kind of healed up. I've had my stitches out and I'm good to go again.
Unfortunately, Colchester United are knocked out of the FA Cup in the first round again. Didn't want to win it anyway. Focus now moves to Saturday as we welcome Andy Woodman's Bromley to the JobServe Community Stadium. It's going to be another tough test for the U's, as it sounds like there could be quite a few injuries to some key players into some key areas. But we'll have to wait and see what Danny does with the team, and I'm sure we'll back him no matter what team he puts out. If you've liked what you've seen today, make sure you go down below and you hit the like button and leave us a comment. Also hit subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're notified of when I next upload. Also, make sure you head over to X and Instagram at officialuptheUs and give us a like over there. And as always, remember, up the U's.